So I wonder if they're discussing now if they're gonna do some rebans.
I think that is the case. I think Parthia might be getting banned out. Or we might see Parthia versus Parthia. Jamie, are they talking to you about the bans?
Yeah, we're just sorting that now.
Whatever Pointman's doing now, he knows that if Voland's gonna stay as Parthia, I mean, that was just a killer tactic. But then again, you could totally do something that's just gonna be so surprising and go like all infantry or all something else, and your cavalry is just gonna be worthless in a long, sustainable fight. That's kind of what I went for there against Voland himself on the second game we had yesterday when he went as Egypt. I thought he was going to go cav heavy, so I brought my best cav and just a few set of Triarie, and man, was I surprised when I saw 20 units of infantry show up. I had no long sustainable chance at winning that.
Will Overguard just said, we people at Crave Assembly are allowed to pick favourites. I'm cheering for Point Man. Well, he's going to need all the support he can, as he already is 1-0 behind. So he needs to pick it up if he is going to get to the final. I see a lot of people in chat are trying to work out exactly what the hell happened in that last game. I mean, after that charge and he got in there, to try and get behind him, it took a long time for his cavalry to get up the hill, get in position, and I mean, when they did charge, they were still going uphill on that charge.
Yeah.
But by then, the damage had already been done. The infantry had already broke. His general was already dead.
Okay, we've got the bans in. Volound is banned from playing Parthia, and Point Man is banned from playing Egypt.
Oh my god.
So, we're not going to see perhaps the same sort of cavalry tactic being used again. But it did buy Volound the first game, which is very crucial in winning, obviously.
That wasn't tricky editing, that was my actual recording, because after that last battle, I alt-tabbed and I went to the stream and I started typing comments. And I was still recording Rome 2 when I alt-tabbed, and that was the recording of the stream, so I just heard all that right before I went into this battle, and it sort of affects what I'm thinking about, because it's difficult to describe it. It allows me to reset my mindset, because after fighting a battle you're still sort of like hyped up and excited and you're not thinking clearly, but when you listen to the stream you sort of realise that it's an event and you sort of pick up the general sentiment that the commentators are trying to get across, and also from reading the comments the same thing, so I could sort of reset and estimate what Point Man was thinking after the last battle from what the commentators were thinking, and that's why I decided to go with an infantry rush. In the last battle I had 0 infantry, and this one I have 18.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
This is one of the stronger Egypt builds that well, this is your build, this isn't mine.
Yeah, I concocted this bullshit myself.
Egyptian infantry as the meat shields, effectively. And the Galatians protected from charges and missiles by, well, the Egyptian infantry in front, of course. But I'm still surprised that Point Man banned Parthia. Really quite surprised at that. That was a big mistake as well, I think.
Not really, because I would have just brought it again and did the same thing to his identical army. He had no response to it. No one did in the tournament. No one could deal with this head-on charge from Parthia.
The only way to beat it is a noob box, I think.
Yeah, and you can't do that when you're attacking, because then I could just run around the map and you'd lose.
Yeah.
So I'm guaranteed. If I was to actually go for the win, I'd be guaranteed every single match where I'm defending. I'd be guaranteed the victory, because I would just get Parthia and I would charge, or I would just kite. But I'd rather play the game, and that's why when someone did use a noob box, I didn't end up getting the victory.
I'm glad Point Man didn't, because noob boxes are... It's a tournament and thousands of people are watching. You don't want to do that at all, because the entertainment of the audience is the thing that is the most important. That's the whole point of the event, pretty much.
That's what I was going for the entire time.
So yeah, as long as it's entertaining, it should be done. And I don't know, he should have changed build though. I don't know why he stuck with Suebi. They've got nothing. They've literally got nothing for patch 4 at all.
Yeah. They don't have the best anything, they're not particularly well rounded, they're just weak.
I remember him bringing archers in this
Longbows.
battle as well. Yeah, all bow units suck in this current version of the game as well.
They're inferior to slingers. It's just
Yeah.
no way around it. It's just how it is. You don't bring archers or skirmishers, you bring slingers in patch 4. Patch 5 now, we're on. But back during this battle, it was patch 4 and slingers were the king of skirmishers.
Yep. I wouldn't have brought in any missile units if I was him. I would have just went all out attack. You have to win.
Yeah, because when I had 20 units of infantry, or 18, there was nowhere for him to run. He could not use his skirmishers properly. They would only fire if I let them fire.
Yeah, as soon as the battle started, well actually, I think before the battle started, when you were in deployment, I typed on Skype, "You've won." He's went a bad faction. It can't really. It's almost impossible for him to win against someone who's a competent player like yourself and plays as Egypt against Suebi. It's very. I don't see when we were testing all this. We went multiple factions and I don't think I could have won against you as Suebi ever if you were Egypt. I don't think it's possible. What could you do? Noble horse, maybe?
You'd have to do the same thing back. You could actually win. You'd have to get a core of swordmasters with berserkers behind them to rout earlier. Then it wouldn't matter that they were slightly inferior in the melee because they would have the morale on their side and that would cause an earlier rout.
Yeah.
Berserkers and swordmasters is the only way to do it, and that's a big part of why I took out his berserkers as soon as I could.
Everyone in the tournament was afraid to bring builds that weren't balanced though, so no one would do that. We actually tried that as well. Remember the berserker build?
Yeah.
Not berserker build, but it was a build which was swordmaster heavy, backed up by berserkers.
Yeah,
tested that against the Parthian and Egyptian Omegas, and it got destroyed. So yeah, what the hell is he still shit talking? What did he say after it? Can you remember? It's not shown.
Yeah, I should explain. After the battle, he wanted
was he?
After the battle, he wanted a rule. He wanted a maximum 6 of 1 unit rule, but I'd already picked Egypt when that rule was. When he forwarded that notion, to introduce the rules, so that was unfair.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really go ahead and say sure, because he could have went into the faction pick process with knowledge that he was going to get that unit cap, and I didn't, so that was real unfair. So that's why I said, I've already picked my faction, that's kind of...
Yeah.
I can't remember what I said, I just said I've already picked my faction, that's...
Yeah, no. I'm not a fan of changing the rules once a game starts, and I am not not a game, but once the tournament's started, I am not a fan of changing the rules unless something is game breaking.
Right now, I've alt-tabbed at the game, that's why it's paused like this. That means I've alt-tabbed. I'm still recording, of course, and I can tab back in and it'll continue. But I'm in Skype right now, or I was, talking with the organisers and Pointman about the rule.
Yeah.
So I shot down the rule introduction. If he said that before the battle, I would have went ahead with it. Even I could have still won quite easily. All I'd have to have done was take a couple of Galatians less and brought 6 units of carrying axemen, and it would have been. I could have even been more formidable. I'm not sure.
You could have brought in the Omega Egypt build, but you didn't.
Yeah, I wanted to go heavy infantry for this one because I thought he would expect lots of cavalry.
Yeah. For anyone that doesn't know though, the Omega Egypt build it has 6. Is it 6 units of Galatians?
5 maybe.
A few Galatians. It includes all of the morale debuffs that the Parthian one has, which you saw in the previous battle. It has camel archers, it has elephants, so it makes the enemy rout really quickly.
Yeah, that's what it's for.
Yeah, and it's they all have hard counters like the Parthian build. I think the Parthian build lost to the Egyptian Omega. If I remember correctly, it's hard to remember.
What do you mean? What Parthian build?
Remember the Master Parthian build, the one that you just used in Pointman?
Nothing beats that.
Nothing beats it. Holy shit. Okay, I couldn't remember if the Egyptian one beat it or not, but apparently not.
No. Cataphracts beat Ptolemaic cavalry heavily.
Yeah, they do. And I remember now. Galatians get destroyed by cataphracts. I remember. Oh my god.
They lose 30 guys on the charge and then they're out.
Yeah, I just remembered something for the final, but I'll save it for when we're doing that video. I just remember something really strange. But that's not this battle, so yeah. You've got high ground.
That's why I picked this map.
Oh my god.
Because I am the attacker now. I was the defender, believe it or not, in the last battle. That's another reason I like to attack regardless, because then if my opponent assumes that I'm going to attack by default, and it's then my discretion whether or not I choose to defend when I'm the defender. If I attack when I'm the defender, as much as I defend when I'm the defender, I become more unpredictable, and that's what I was going for.
Yeah. You always want to be attacking anyway.
Mm-hmm.
The attacker always has an advantage.
And also because it's a streamed tournament, I don't want it to be a shitty skirmish standoff.
Yeah.
Attack in every battle in this tournament except for the last one, and there's a good reason for it.
Oh.
Yeah, moving them down there because I kind of want to. I want to pull away from my cavalry.
Hold the behemoth.
Behemoth, yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I said that to Diplex as well. He liked it. He laughed.
Yeah, this is the same build, isn't it?
I think it's almost exactly the same. He has longbows this time. I think this is his best Suebi build that he uses all the time. Whenever he wants to bring the best army possible, he'll bring this, I think.
Yeah. There was this is a patch 3 Omega, I think. If I remember correctly.
What, his army's a patch 3 army?
His army is a patch 3 ultimate destroying. It's an army that just wrecks everything in patch 3 pretty much.
Alright, so he didn't know about patch 4.
Yeah, that seems to be it. Remember the longbow hunters? You had a. We didn't know, like, before this tournament started, we didn't know which patch it was going to be on until much later on.
Yeah, so we prepped for 3 and then prepped for 4 as well.
Yeah, and one of the strongest builds was a 8th unit bow longbow hunter army. You had like 4 swordmasters or something, and like
much more than that. Loads of swordmasters.
I just remember it being very bow heavy, and
yeah,
the bows were amazing.
It was all longbow hunters and swordmasters.
Oh my god.
Because longbow hunters are cheap, so you can spam loads of them.
Yeah, and they kicked ass in patch 3, but now, patch 4, when this battle was taking place, nope. They suck. They absolutely suck. They're not worth it.
So his longbows didn't get any shots off. They're going to be running the entire battle. I've sort of out-microed him here.
He's already on the defensive, what the fuck?
Yeah.
My god.
He's moving his cavalry up. He's trying to surround me, but that won't do anything because I've got too many units for surrounding team and happen. You can't surround an army that outnumbers you by like 5 to 1 or something.
Yeah. See, when I was watching this, I was kind of thinking, what the hell is going on? Like, obviously you're just going to charge straight into him and kill him. But I don't know what he's doing here, like...
I think he didn't know what to
fuck?
do. He was trying to get a plan together. He had no idea what to do.
I remember typing charge, full force, you cannot lose, you've got a better build, which is true.
Yeah, look at the balance of power.
I mean, yeah. Like, it's almost impossible for him to win this one as well.
Yeah, I was disappointed by a lot of things Pointman did. The biggest disappointment though was that he just brought shit armies every time.
Yeah, it was weird though. Everyone like thought he would get to the final and be like maybe beat the Prussian Prince, but no way. With these builds, are you fucking joking?
The only people that thought otherwise were the people that didn't know who Pointman was but watched my Total War videos.
Oh my god.
Which is a kind of ignorance that would usually betray someone, because if you look at it just like superficially, he is a multiplayer guy, I'm a single player guy,
Yeah.
so it's intuitive that I would get raped.
You shouldn't have been able to win at all. I think I said that to you privately before this began. We were working out if we could even get to the semi-final. And we thought we could, obviously, because of our OP builds.
Yeah.
But like, someone has an OP build that doesn't really mean anything other than they put a lot of thought into it, and they
want to win.
Yeah, when you invest your time in thinking about how to win something, and then you win, and if someone says like, "Oh, Volound just use OP builds," well, who wouldn't? It's a tournament. Do you want the money? I mean, I didn't understand that. Like, that was in the chat at one point.
It'd be different if I did something that was actually...
like noob boxing.
Yeah, that was actually...
hindered the entertainment of the whole event.
Yeah, that's why I attacked in every battle. That's a lot of why. Because
this is entertaining as hell.
Yeah, that's the way Point Man is reeling back from this behemoth right
Yeah,
now.
that's kind of annoying. I want the fight to start.
Well, I was saying that because it's funny, not because I was objecting to it. There's nothing else he can really do. He pretty much did everything he could do, and this is what I would have done if I had his shit army and I was up against my good army. I would have like pulled back and waited for this Egyptian army to make a mistake and then try and exploit it and then claw back the disadvantage that he gave himself when he picked this shitty army. But he doesn't quite manage to do that. Every time he tries to flank me, I just turn a unit around and there's no flank.
Yeah.
And also
I
I've
remember
just charged down his
telling you
berserkers.
that. I remember telling you he's only going to try and flank. There's nothing else he can do.
Yeah.
So I was typing like, you need to turn round as soon as his horses appear to counter the charge bonus.
Yeah, there's no doubt I knew I had to do that.
Yeah,
And
I was
I
just
had-
making sure because that's the only way you could possibly lose.
Also, I had 2 layers of infantry. I had the Galatians
Yeah.
and the Egyptians, so if he was to surround me, it's not like he can get hammer and anvil. All I have to do is turn the unit round that's not facing an enemy unit, and then that's me. I've not got a flank anymore.
Yeah. I think you were the favourite player of the whole tournament, by the way. It seemed
Well-
like it from the chat because everyone liked the Diplex battles.
Yeah, they
were
did. That
best.
was the highlight of the tournament. Like, everyone
I can-
said that was most
I'll
entertaining.
tell you why. They were the most entertaining because you both you pretty much just charged.
Yeah, that's why I liked him, because he didn't take it too seriously. Neither did I.
Yeah.
When I was playing against Diplex, I didn't even expect to get to the final. I didn't know that people would be so unprepared against my builds that I made. So I thought that my builds would maybe get lucky, maybe not. But
Yeah.
Diplex, against Diplex, we both just were single player guys that joined this tournament, agreed to do it, and thought, let's just go for it. So we did, and it was quite entertaining. But
Yeah,
this battle
yeah.
though, it's so bitter. Like there's so much bitterness and butthurt and resentment from this battle and the previous battle. Because if I win this, I've got £300 in the bag, and Point Man still has to fight to win anything. He has to beat the guy that finishes in second place in the other semi-final, and he does
Yeah.
eventually do that, and he wins £200. But he must have felt so outdone.
I think it's because he's a tournament player.
Yeah, he is.
He doesn't think it's possible to lose to a single player guy.
Yeah.
Or at least he didn't before this, I can tell you that.
I think it's because most of the YouTubers that do single player stuff, they're not really gameplay heavy, whereas I am. Like I play on the hardest
Yeah.
difficulty and I try and make it as good as possible. Like I try and it's not even hard for me when I play on legendary difficulty in any sort of war game.
No, it's not. It's a
And
cakewalk.
that's because I understand the basics of what makes someone a good multiplayer player, like how rock paper scissors works, how all the factors that affect how a conflict goes works, like fatigue, elevation differences, that kind of thing. I understand all the basics, so do you when you play
Yeah.
legendary as well. But a lot of people don't, and it's quite shocking.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I actually planned on being a multiplayer heavy Rome 2
Yeah.
player before Rome 2 arrived, but then Rome 2 arrived and it was shit, so I couldn't be bothered anymore.
I did as well. I wanted to play it online a lot as well.
Yeah.
I wasn't as enthusiastic as you because I thought it might not go anywhere because Total War's kind of like a single player focused game.
Yeah.
But you know, I think I said if they've invested in the multiplayer, I will play the shit out of it.
Yeah, me too, yeah, definitely.
But and we're going kind of off topic, but let's just say they haven't.
The multiplayer is just complete shit in Rome 2.
Yeah, and
It's
the
almost a waste of
matchmaking
time.
doesn't work at all either. It's a disgrace.
Yeah.
It's a fucking disgrace, and that's why I don't play it.
And
anymore.
that's why we did preparation for the tournament. If we hadn't have been so out of the loop when the tournament
Yeah.
arrived, we wouldn't have bothered to prepare because we would already have known what works, more or less. But we prepared quite heavily, and I think that gave me the advantage that allowed me to get to the final.
It's very satisfying, like, to see the builds that you worked on work against, like, apparently a good tournament player.
Mhm.
Not just work, but completely fucking destroy.
Yeah.
My god, that Parthian charge last battle. Oh my god, I was so happy. I was so pleased that it actually worked.
Our baby was successful.
Quite a few of your units do route here, but if you look at the bottom, it's mostly Egyptian infantry that are gone who are the meat shields. So.
My Galatians were all still alive, it wasn't even close, it was so
Yeah.
easy.
Well, no, I think one of them routed. I think there were 8 at the start, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, obviously not every single unit's alive, but look, they're all
Yeah.
fucking still there and the battle's over.
Yeah, it's pretty much good done.
GG.
What did they get killed by? Was it a berserker unit or?
Berserkers were charged and killed at the start of the battle.
Oh, okay.
They were the priority target for my Ptolemaic cavalry, which I brought a couple of and hid them in the trees. I wanted him to look at my army and see no cavalry and then operate under that false assumption, and he did. You can see that by the way he set his longbows up to... I could have killed them if I waited a bit longer. Ptolemaic cavalry are so slow, otherwise I think I deserved to catch them. Didn't I deserve to catch them? The way he sent them out so far ahead of his army, I deserved to catch them. I did.
Your cavalry are still alive, amazingly.
Yeah.
You only brought 2 units.
I wanted to keep them for the whole game.
Yeah, you did.
It's ironic, I started with almost no cavalry and finished with the most. All his cavalry died quite early on.
Now look at that, the Galatians are still very much there. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, look at the kills on them as well. Some units got 100 kills, no losses.
Yeah. And over to the,
live stream.
We are getting ready for our next game. They're just choosing out the map. So
Volound,
you want to
easy
talk
win.
about the map that they are going to be playing on?
Galatian
Octodorn,
spam incoming.
believe I played on this map.
That guy knows.
It's my final game yesterday against Volound, and it's sort of a map where one side is going to have a very flat. I believe the defender or the attacker. I believe it's the defender is going to have a very flat sort of downhill area where you can set up, and there's not a lot of forest patches nearby, and the other player is going to be coming from above
most recent
at a
comment.
very high sort of altitude and the elevation. It's going to be at either player's advantage depending on how you play it. As many know, if you fight spear units, sort of downhill, if you're the downhill player with spear units, you're most likely going to destroy the player that's coming up from above because the physics come into play there with the weight and gravity pulling you down at the spears. It's interesting. So it's not always the high ground that wins in this case. Point man seems to be ready, but Volound isn't still too sure about his picks, it seems. I mean, this is there's a long stake here, so you're going to want to bring in an absolute killer combo. We all know that.
Anything in Suebi can bring, Egypt can bring better, and be very impressed if Point Man can take this.
Absolutely.
And Egypt does seem to be the faction to pick. Egypt and Parthia.
I don't think anyone realises, but Point Man broke a rule in this battle.
Sorry, drink too much Diet Coke, you get burned.
I didn't realise.
Got to deal with it.
He didn't wait 5 minutes before hitting ready without asking for
I love
permission.
being able to just mute my microphone as soon as I need to.
Oh.
He didn't communicate with me at all, actually, during and after the
So,
battle.
everyone in chat, have you been enjoying the tournament so far? Would you like a repeat of this tournament sometime down the line? And we are going into our first game.
And that begins.
Yep.
The Alt F4s
It's going to be
as well.
interesting. We'll see who spawns where, if I was right about the attacker defender. I believe the defender in this case is Suebi, spawning
The
downhill,
Alt
but I could be
After the
wrong,
battle.
of course.
Oh my god.
Snowy this time around.
Is indeed. Last time we were playing on this, we ended up having an
Right,
inverted map.
get ready for Diplex's
Yes.
analysis of army composition.
Yeah.
Though it kept doing it on certain maps, it totally confused me. Like, absolutely, I'm looking at the map and just like, this doesn't look right. And I was like, why? I couldn't work it out. And I was like, oh, deployments are switched.
Yes.
Well, guys, if you would like to see another tournament like this, please go to SCAN Computers on Facebook and ask for them to support another one. Alright,
They've been
man.
absolutely.
So, Duplex, please give me a rundown of your friend Voland's army.
Well, it's actually what he did on me the second round in my last game. We are seeing an Egyptian player completely, maybe perhaps not in this case, fool his opponent with just tons of infantry. So I'm excited to see
The Plex loves it.
Point Man is going to bring. I don't know if Point Man watched my game yesterday, but I was a Roman player. I went cav heavy. I was going to counter his, and I just had no chance against the sustainable infantry.
It's funny because
Exciting.
Diplex actually did better against
Only
this
time
build
will tell what Point Man can do to
than
counter this.
Point Man did.
But I
It
mean,
just shows
really,
how
like
bad
this
the Suebi
20 or
builds are.
18 units, I believe, of just strong Egyptian infantry. I believe we've seen some upgrades in there as well, in the deployment phase, and it's gonna be a tough challenge. It really is. Some redeployments being made, and we are in. It's sort of what I expected there from a Suebi player. We've got not too much infantry, a little more than last time. But then again, we've got some scout riders, not so pricey cav this time around. Got some ranged as well. Longbow hunters, no ranged units from Volound, so that's going to be interesting. That's probably going to prolong the game a bit. This can really put Point Man in a defensive position.
It's a good point, actually, Jamie. Who is the defender in this game?
I don't even know.
No, I believe it's Point Man. Point Man is.
Point Man is the defender, so he definitely has a more aggressive army. Anyway, in Volound's army, sorry. We do have some skirmishes, so it's not too bad.
Yep. Three longbow
behemoth.
hunters, and he's got way more infantry this time around. Well, not way more, but some berserkers. It's gonna be tricky to deal with all that infantry, and I'd be a little careful with what I'm doing there with the longbow hunters, because we do have some cav from Volound, unless he has already
Look how
made
cut
that
out they are.
calculation.
Look at
They
that.
could quickly round up those guys.
They
and
should
kill
be
them all.
dead.
Looks like he's sending them.
What the hell?
How the hell do your cavalry not
Surprise!
catch that? I don't get
I
that.
know, look, I've told them to run right out. Look at that. Look how slow they are. What the
Oh.
fuck?
He saw it coming, and
What?
he's sending them back. He's probably going to send
Run!
out his noble riders along with
Just kill them. They're just sitting
some
there.
scout riders who've gone to the right flank there to actually
That's why I put
counter that
infantry to the
cavalry
left.
threat. If he can absolutely shatter the enemy cav,
Look, yep,
he
longbows
has
are
got
dead.
a little
They
more
should be.
room to play around
What's
with on
Point
the
Man
map.
doing? They'll
'Cause the
think
enemy
he's
simply
fucked
won't
up.
be as mobile.
I'm following them
just
for
going
that
in as well.
epic charge. You can see
They made it.
noble riders on the
What
incoming.
the fuck?
I don't know why they were
I mean,
that
it's a
slow.
really scary sight for Point Man, I believe, to see that massive infantry. He knows he can't counter it with his infantry in a one-on-one
That
fight.
game of chicken has been called off, and Vold starts to make the retreat. The scout riders
We're
try and
charging
come in and
downhill
pick
as
up
well.
infantry.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they had a little
Yeah, see ya.
eye in eye there. Yeah, see you, man.
So how is he going to be able to use his advantage in cavalry to negate the advantage in infantry that Volden has?
Hammer and anvil, fighting, coming in sort of with a strong charge when his infantry is already preoccupied with Point Man's infantry. Do some proper morale damage there. We haven't got too many spear-wielding infantry from what I can tell. Egyptian infantry seems to be sword and sword, unless there's some hidden spears. He's got berserkers though. That's really interesting. They're always funny. Berserkers. Look at them there. They are just
They're all
wild. They're on
See
the
a small amount of men in a small grouping, so it must be the berserkers.
bearskin there. Bearskin, baby. Song that I did with Prince of Macedon for many years ago.
God, I did see that as well. As soon as I started seeing the music videos, I must admit, I was just like, oh god. Don't even know what to think when I saw that.
That Egyptian infantry is
I
risky.
don't know why
Nope.
Point Man is sending his sword masters
Nope.
into the woods. Like if I'd be this, I'd want to gather my army to fight his masters of infantry. He wouldn't be sending them back. He's got the circus pulling back as well. He really just wants to. I think
Volound
he's
is
trying
so
to
lame
buy
right now.
time right now to figure out what he's gonna do. He can't take
He's
up the
not the
cav
one
now.
that's
They're just
running away.
way too protected by the infantry.
Hoping to
What the
maybe
fuck?
a mistake of Volan's that you can take advantage of. But right now, you are seeing berserkers running away
See?
from an infantry fight. Have you ever seen that before? Especially that guy. So as you bring up a tactical map here, you can see that the
I'm surrounded. Refresh.
Yeah.
is Volan going to just turn around?
Totally surrounded.
Looks like he's going in
think-
with his cavalry.
I think Point Man might be able to do a pretty good attack here on the flank because he's really not facing the front of Volound's army, but he's going in on even numbers with his Egyptian infantry, and this might be really bad for Volound if he can actually sort of take them down in stages.
I'll leave the
Of course,
Egyptian infantry behind to die.
Egyptian infantry.
Did
is
you notice
pretty
that he
much
had his
terrible,
berserkers
but it
on
can
the
hold
road
that
there?
place for a little
Mhm.
bit,
That was
maybe.
bad.
The hell?
Master's going
The
to tear them
fuck?
apart,
They're
literally.
not meant to fight.
But while that is going on, the berserkers over here,
For
they
morale
suffered
debuffs,
at least
that's pretty much
10
it.
casualties each
Mhm.
during the charge.
Yeah,
It's how
Still
they
a
could
Y
hold
left on
on.
there.
if he enables their abilities, which I'm sure they have, they'll do some
So
damage
he-
there. Definitely, they
He
do
falls
have.
for the sunk cost
incredible
fallacy and
morale.
throws in scout riders
Now
as well.
everything here
Look
is
at
just
that.
becoming
Yeah.
a mass of
Good
infantry
way.
fighting.
Yeah, that's, yeah, he did.
The
But
right-
I'm afraid that's not to his advantage in this case.
Berserkers are not
because
going to last
now
very
Point Man
long.
can actually pick off his units one by
Look,
one. And
meanwhile,
other
I've got
flanks, while
Galatians holding
all
off
his
3
units are
units and a
literally
good
just
melee.
occupied in 2 of his.
Yeah.
We'll see if it actually leads to a later
Oh
game
my God.
advantage.
And my Egyptian infantry are also holding units off and dying, which is totally fine.
Off his units at the side,
That lets me
but here
destroy
you go,
this
the
part of his army.
barbarian
Berserkers are gone.
Berserkers are breaking now, and they have
Yep.
gone out the fight,
Total
so that
waste.
frees up
Yeah,
a
that was a lot of
huge
money.
chunk of Voland's army
It was like
now.
2,000.
The Egyptian
Yeah, they're like
player
800
is now
each.
going to be turning on chunks of the barbarian army. I think he's going to take out the
I'm comfortable now
raiders.
with the victory.
Egyptian right
Yeah.
flank is now going to encircle the barbarian left.
So I'm just fighting them fair.
Those ones
Good
on the right
fighting it
here.
by the Noble Riders, though. Did pick up a unit there. We've got Swordmasters going in on a pretty big
Scout
chunk
Raiders.
of Galatian Guard and
Garbage.
Egyptian infantry, but right as we're seeing now, right now, a lot
An
of the
effective
cav
charge.
there is free of use now for Point Man.
This, oh,
A little freezing there happens.
and some guy just flew over that shield there. Have a
Yeah.
little bit of lag in game. It's like everyone just put it onto slow mo. The Galatian Royal Guard though are holding this chunk for so long, even though they were totally outflanked and everything.
No, these are
Scout
good one-on-one
Riders coming into
engagements. I can cancel his units out, and I'll still have more
longbow archers are
remaining.
doing a massive amount of damage to the enemy they're firing at, but remember, if shooting into your own melee there, it's gonna do a lot of damage to yourself.
Especially when you don't have as many units to throw about.
Precisely. Generals engaged now against their units. I believe we're going to see a victory in that engagement there. Swordmasters are probably going to tear apart the Galatian Guard. Cav is being sent in, I believe,
Hell
the
no.
Noble Riders. Trying to find a gap in between to engage something. Have you seen the Berserkers are still in the fight? 12 of them, and they're
Still
not
alive.
breaking.
I can
They're
ignore
fighting
them.
to the end. This is what's
Yeah.
so good about them. They are not giving up now. They're fighting to the end, and they're going to occupy a few units down
10
there.
Berserkers
Definitely.
against some Egyptian infantry. I'll give it to the Berserkers. They're out
I'm
of control.
getting killed.
They're getting slaughtered, yeah. Half of them dead in seconds.
It's looking more even now than it looked before, but
I don't
can't
know, the
deny
right
it.
flank is totally buckling right now under
Yeah.
the stress of all the Egyptian infantry, but it's over on the
Exactly.
The
over on
longbows are doing
left
nothing.
where the
They're useless.
barbarians are making their
Yeah,
presence
it's
felt.
5 kills,
But the
10
Galatians
kills.
are holding for so long.
It's a waste of talent.
And
Mhm.
Vaughan's own general unit is engaged as well. And they don't seem to be coming out on top either. So
There's
how
Mara,
are you
it's
seeing this
close.
game going down right now? It looks like Point Man is in deep trouble.
it looked like there was about a small turning point earlier in this fight, but right
Cavalry
now
free.
I don't know how this is going to end up. The archers are, I don't think they're doing the effect that he wished for them to have. The swordmasters are
Stop his cavalry with
probably gonna
Egyptian
break anytime soon.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh my
they
god.
deserve a cav is pretty much broken. It almost
Right, the
looks
charge
like
is coming in.
Volound's got the cavalry supremacy right now.
I go for the longbows because
superiority,
they'll die
should I
really
say.
soon, and then
And,
balance of power will shift. I'll win. Tis all right.
Those archers are
Yep.
just in the open now for the cav to just tear apart. Swordmasters, though, in pretty good condition, are going to be able to engage in with their fellows fighting the masses of Galatian Guard. On the other side, looks like some Egyptian troops are breaking randomly, and that Swordmaster units with 50 out men are just holding back hundreds and hundreds.
here comes the
Oh.
inevitable end of the,
The mash round.
longbow hunters here.
Here it comes.
Yep.
Voland's cavalry, which is still alive after its initial charge on the barbarian.
Look at this. They killed
Berserkers,
nothing, I think.
Charging headlong.
See their kills
into
after the match?
Yep.
The skirmishes
That's
Yeah.
bye-bye for them.
They've been
In
shooting
that
for a while.
case, I'd just actually hold them, put on fire arrows.
If that was
and
patch
just have
3,
them
you
shoot
would
the
have had
last
at least
volleys
one
at the cav.
unit of
Sometimes
Ptolemaic
it
cavalry
does a big
routing.
And
difference,
that
but
is the destruction
Yeah, they're already
of the
damaged.
barbarians on the right side of the Egyptian flank.
Yep.
And now it is just 2 units left, and it looks like Point
There they
Man
go.
is out of the tournament.
That was enough.
he's been having a good,
Yeah.
you know, he's been doing good this far. A lot of people have been rooting for him, but
it's
Volound, I
done.
mean, in my opinion, has surprised me. Point Man has unfortunately not picked up a single
See how
game
many
yet
kills they got.
in this game.
And
That's the
there
trick,
you go.
so-
Voland advances to the finals, and Point Man goes crashing out.
Oh, we can't see for some reason.
Well, you can both say that both armies of
Oh.
Voland picked were
There they are.
kind of
Pathetic. Holy shit.
rush orientated.
25
They were
kills,
going to
8
do
kills,
one
12
thing and
kills.
One thing only, but they did
Not
those
enough,
things
nowhere near.
incredibly effectively.
Berserkers had like 15 kills.
Yeah. And that is the second battle of the semi-final